Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be doing another OMG Mondays video. So, I haven't done one of these videos in a while because I've had other videos taking precedent on Mondays. So, I am finally going to be doing an OMG Mondays video. It's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter one, but I only have like 3 stories here that I chose that I really wanted to do. And so today I have a couple stories for you guys today. And I do really love doing these videos, even though they're not like the greatest view-wise, but I do really enjoy doing these videos. But yeah, so without further ado, grab a snack, get something to drink. I just have my hydro with some water. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. So let's start off with this one. So this one reads, am I the a-hole for arguing with my wife and my in-laws over our children's extracurriculars? Alright, so the story reads, my wife, 32F, and I, 32M, had some compromising to do with some extracurricular activities. My wife grew up doing a lot of them. She pretty much never had free time, and her parents are pretty against it for kids. She did gymnastics, softball, basketball, soccer, dance, and music growing up. My family were more laid back and worked for me. I swam and did art sometimes, but none of it was super competitive and serious. My wife did a lot more competitive stuff and was always serious and going for pro. When we were discussing kids, she wanted the kids to be raised the same as her. I didn't agree with that, so we agreed we wouldn't force it on them. We wouldn't overwhelm them 2 or 3 at absolute most at a time, and we wouldn't make them do the more competitive sports teams if they didn't want to. But if they wanted to, it would be stopped. It wouldn't be stopped either. We have 4 boys. Our older 2 are very into sports, and they take it seriously and want to play on serious teams. But our younger boys are the opposite and really don't like team sports. One favors swimming and the other favors rock climbing, but neither want to do either seriously. My wife wanted them to follow in their older brother's footsteps and at least do football on the serious team their brothers were part of, and have since progressed from. I disagreed in reference back to our prior agreement. She disagreed with me and said they need to be on teams and should be more serious about the sport. My wife brought her parents into this, and all 3 of them tried to tell me I was wrong. In-laws said kids with free time are going to grow up to be delinquents, and I was the exception to that. They also said the younger boys aren't going to be tough enough for high school and beyond if they don't learn something more solid in terms of sports. I asked what any of this has to do with them being tough, and was ignored. My wife said I was being disagreeable and for no reason and so unreasonable. I grew frustrated and told her she was using her parents to gang up on me and that we had an agreement, and she was refusing to stick to it even though I never interfered with in what our older boys wanted. She told me they made the right choice. She wanted our younger boys to do the same. She said they were missing out on the pressure that all kids need to experience young, and the exception that being part of a serious team brings. Her parents said my wife is right and I need to see sense and stop being selfish. I lost my temper and told my in-laws that this has nothing to do with them, and told my wife that she was totally wrong for bringing her parents into this and trying to back me into a corner, and I was not okay with any of it. They're mad at me for making it a fight. Am I the a-hole? So I would say definitely not. So for me, I did not have any extracurricular activities growing up. Well, none like my parents tried to get me to. Like, I didn't have a lot, I would say. Like, I remember I did like self-defense karate for like a summer, and all I was at was like at a white belt with like one black stripe. I believe, I don't know, the like karate dojo that was there is like long gone now, but and I did remember I did swimming, because I remember it was because I think I remember the reason why we went to swimming is because my sister went, when we did our first ever like trip to Disneyland, we went to the pool at the motel we were staying at, and my sister jumped into the pool and she didn't know how to swim, and I didn't know what to do either. So my dad had to jump in, so my mom put us in swimming lessons so we could at least learn how to like float and not like sink to the bottom of like a body of water. So I remember that, and my mom had this thing called Summer Action, where it was basically like a like summer activity program, where basically it was just like during the summer, like during like a certain period of time, you can like do like different like activities. Like they had a like science class, a PE class, a Zumba class, like a bunch of different classes that you can take and pick from. I remember I did a gardening class. It was also weird because they did show us like these weird like vegan anti-factory farm, like weird like PETA style videos that were very like graphic, which was really weird. But I do remember we built like our own garden and stuff by the elementary school. But yeah, I remember that, and I also remember doing like after school program, which is basically just the same thing as like summer action. It's just after school, where like a couple of hours we would do like homework and stuff, and then we would also like pick out a class. I think the most like favorite class that everyone took with this book called Comida class was basically just Spanish for food, and we would just take the bus to the high school where they had their cooking class, and we just learned how to make food and stuff like that, and it literally taught me how to cook and stuff like that. So I remember I made like a taco salad and like cookies and like a bunch of different things. And yeah, so like my mom, like we never really were in a lot of extracurricular activities, but I feel like it should be like, obviously the in-laws do not, like, I feel like forcing your kids to do stuff that they don't want to do, or like forcing them to do things, yeah, like they don't want to do, is just really weird and not very good for them, because like putting in the team sports, I hate team sports, because just like I'm not a fan of just like football, or just like in sports in general. I'm not really ever a fan of like football, soccer, different things like that. Like I was never in sports or things like that. So yeah, I never like played a sport in school and stuff like that. Like I like tried a little bit, but I never really tried out or anything like that. But yeah, so I was like never in sports or anything like that. But like saying if kids ever have free time, they're gonna become delinquents, and it's just like very, very shallow-minded. Very much like one of those people who like kind of live vicariously through their children and want to do the things that they never got to do as kids, stuff like that. And like I feel like the agreement they had were like the kids like it's good to like kids should like have some kind of extracurricular to be able to kind of like grow friendships and like grow interests and things like that. But like forcing them to do things that they don't want to do is never a good thing. A kid should be able to do things that they want to do, and forcing them to do things that they don't is not a good thing, like obviously. So yeah, definitely not the a-hole in this situation, because the wife needs to understand that these kids are not little playthings that you can do whatever they want with them, that they are real human beings with human emotions. So yeah, so definitely not the a-hole in this situation, and hopefully the kids will not be Alright, this one is a little crazy. I read this one. I was like, oh my god, I need to read this one. So this one reads, am I an a-hole for apologizing for my mom and to a waitress? I, 28F, went to eat yesterday with my friends and family. There was 6 of us total at our table. For some background, my mom, 58F, has a tendency of complaining at every restaurant my husband or I choose, and we usually ignore her. She always complains about the quality of food, too salty, or is from a culture who she is unfamiliar with, or the atmosphere, if it's not nice enough decor-wise. No one ever agrees with her, and my husband and I came to the conclusion she just thinks that complaining makes her look cool or something. Yesterday we ate at a Vietnamese restaurant. My mom immediately started making fun of the waitstaff by mimicking their language, that when they would speak to each other. She thought it was hilarious, but I quietly told her that that's racist and really mean, and the waitstaff could hear her. She brushed me up, but I could tell she was embarrassed because I even thought I quietly corrected her. Everyone could tell that I did, I guess. Because she was embarrassed, she started doubling down on her behavior to act like she was never wrong to begin with. A waitress came and took her drink that was empty and only had ice in it. My mom got upset at the waitress and loudly told her that she wasn't finished with her drink and that she was waiting for the ice to melt. The waitress apologized to my mom and said that she could bring her another drink. My mom wouldn't let it go. She continued to loudly complain about it and saying that the waitress needs to learn to ask before taking items from the table. Management came and bought my mom her new drink free of charge and apologized, even that my mom still acted rude and complained, saying that she wanted her melted ice drink. I was so embarrassed by my mom, and I apologized to the manager and waitress in front of her. My husband did as well. Now my mom is now mad at me, saying that she did nothing wrong and that I embarrassed her in front of everyone by doing that. She said that I felt that she did something wrong. I should have pulled her aside and left it up to her to apologize. She's giving me the cold shoulder, and I'm wondering if I should apologize to her. Am I the a-hole? Definitely not. I hate that these kind of like parents or people always be like, well, you should, like, if you wanted to like bring something up to me, you should have did it in private or different things like that. It's just like, are you that dense that you don't see what's the problem here? You are the problem. It's not the managers, not the waitstaff. And I'm like, why are you waiting for your freaking ice to melt if you like want water? Drink freaking water. Like, it's just really stupid, and like making fun of like their language and stuff like that. It's definitely really bad, and I hate it when people do that. Like, I've had family members when we go to like a Chinese restaurant, they like make fun of them like after or like before we get into the restaurant. It's just like, I hate it. I hate it. Luckily, I don't really talk to those family members anymore, so yeah. So I just hate when people just complain and complain and complain. Like, thankfully there's now this like, it's starting to turn around, like, unless it's like extremely bad service. Like, I understand that people are like struggling nowadays, and I like don't want to like be a burden or anything. I always like, I'm a customer and I'm trying to be nice, and I'm never like rude to a waitress or waiter or anyone like that. And I've never been a Karen or anything like that. I don't know why my mom's playing loud music. Alright, now time for the final story. Am I the a-hole? Wife's sister lets her kids run wild and destroy my house during family dinners. So I voiced my opinion. This home was labeled not the a-hole, so let's see. My wife has her siblings over for dinner every week. 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Only one is married with kids. These kids are not parented at all. Many times we have to stop a child from serious injury because their parents just forget they exist. Tonight I bought a cake for my wife's birthday, and that is next week. Since I will be leaving town for work and missing the day I wanted to celebrate. The oldest of the little guys, 6, started literally pounding on the floor, full-blown tantrum that I won't let him carry the cake lit with candles to the table. I ignored and proceeded after cutting the cake and bringing my wife her piece. Little jumps up and smashes his toy truck into the middle of it. I give my wife another and she just eats around it and says she doesn't mind. I brush it off. Minutes later, the toddler kid number 3 is seen running around my great room with a spoonful of icing and that his mom gave him. And another child, number 2, is just an egg roll. Using egg roll as a missile, mashing it into my walls. My wife permits this anarchy. I keep my mouth shut as usual after the circus leaves our house. I'm cleaning up and doing dishes by myself. My wife walks in and she sighs relieved that oh God, I made the mistake of venting how frustrated I am with her sister, her husband, and children have zero respect for our home. The response was rage, brace-filled, and screaming at Madge about how absolutely terrible I am, that she will make sure her sister's family never present when I am at home. Our wife lets her niece and nephew destroy our house on a weekly basis and then screams at me. Voice frustration. Edit. Background. My wife usually cooks and cleans up after our family gets together. This time I chose to take over. I do my best to assist in prep and clean up. I get that even though I am home only half the month, I still need to engage in household duties. I try to make up for my absence when I'm home. And too many of you have mentioned that I should let her threat of never having over and when I'm home come true. It's an empty threat meant to make me fearful of her writing down my character to her family and friends. Update. Sat down with my wife today and established this behavior won't continue. We're in agreement to start with marriage counseling again. She apologized for being mean and I stood my ground that verbal abuse won't continue. Alright, yeah. I have had experiences where like we've had kind of unruly children, and like my parents are usually the hosts of a lot of parties, and we used to like have a lot of parties at my house, but now we like don't really host parties that much at our house. Like we always have a couple of kids that like are super unruly. Like I have this cousin with like a kid, like he's like autistic like I am, but like more like higher needs autistic than I am, and he's like nonverbal as well, but he just seems, but he has a habit of always trying to get into things. Like we have like a thing, like a console type thing that has like all my mom's urns and stuff in it, and we keep that in the living room where like the TV and everything is, and he always tries to get into it. Or like he cries and like tries to get outside and stuff like that and mess with like our pond that we have outside. And it's just like, I understand that he's autistic, which is like sometimes it gets really annoying and we have to like hide stuff because he will get into it and try to break it or try to mess with it. Like literally I had some, like they took something and I never got it back. But yeah. So yeah, definitely you need to talk to, like, the wife is obviously has something wrong with her if like she's not even like talking about it. So yeah. So definitely not the a-hole in this situation. So that is all my stories that I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on my socials down there too. Oh, and I never showed you guys my nails. I tried out this new polish that I got. I don't think I have it with me, but it's like a Sally Hansen polish, and it's like super good.